Hello, job seekers. More data for you today from our HR survey that we did. And this one is regards to a question that one of you asked us to include on our survey. And that was, how many times can I actually follow up? And more importantly, how often should I be following up after I have an interview with a company? First of all, congratulations and celebrate it as a win if you are at the interview stage. Remember, in your job search, every single little goal is how you win that game. It takes singles, doubles, triples, home runs to win that baseball game, as someone very wise once said. All right. If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to do that now. Give us that thumbs up if you feel like this data is helpful. If you haven't connected me yet on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, and let's look right at our results. So what we saw is asking the question, after a candidate has interviewed for a position with your company, how often is it okay to follow back up about the position? Here is the data that we got. I'm going to take myself out of the stream just so you get a chance to see this a little bit bigger. Okay, so what is this big? 38% that came up the most. That is HR telling you about once a week. Once a week is how often you should be following up. 38% of the over 100 HR professionals that we had that completed the survey for us gave us this data. And in second place, we have this 25% down here. And these are individuals that actually prefer you to follow up once every other week. Once every other week. So at a minimum, you can see that these two take over more than half of the graph. So if you have, following up at most once a week or once every other week, you're going to be hitting what over half of the HR professionals are looking for. I do want to then talk about, we did give them the option to say twice a week. And for twice a week, meaning more than one time in a week, only 1%, that's this skinny yellow bar here, only 1% said it's okay to follow up more than once a week. So what that says to me, job seekers, is you don't want to be doing that, right? You don't want to be following up more than once a week. Any more than that, it's definitely not something that's going to shine favorably on you. Let's take a look at the other part of this. So the other thing that we did have as an option is once. And if they don't hear anything, assume that the company is not interested. And this actually came up at 22%. And I have to tell you, I was a little bit surprised that this came up as high as it did. In my mind, it's different when you're just applying for a position because there are hundreds and thousands of people applying for positions. And so a lot of times that's a different process. But when you've actually interviewed for a position, in my mind, you should always get a follow-up, and you shouldn't have to consider the fact that you didn't hear anything and therefore it's a no. I don't love that answer. Can it happen sometimes? Absolutely, it can, right? There's so many candidates going through. Can it happen sometimes? Yes, but it shouldn't be the norm. At least I don't feel like it should be the norm. But let's look back one more time at the slide. And then this 14%, which you see up here, which is in the red area, this was the other section where we gave people the opportunity to give additional information onto their feelings as to how they felt you should do with this, whether you should do it once a week, every other week, twice a week. And it was really all over the place on that other 14%. There were a lot of ones that said, well, it depends. It depends if it was an initial sourcing interview versus if it was a final interview. It depends if you were interviewing for a direct labor job versus if you were interviewing for a senior job. So I understand that there could be some differences there of individuals wanting you to be one way or another. But in general, what you're hearing from this slide, I'm going to show it to you one last time, is 38% are saying once a week should be your follow-up, and at most once every other week. All right, job seekers, I hope this data as always was helpful. Give us that thumbs up if you feel that it was. If you feel different, put a comment down below and let's talk about it. I'd love to know, as always, what your thoughts are. All right, until next time, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.